Well, as I love to do before we get into today's message, I want to review just a little bit where we started. And we started with last week's message, handcrafted for this world. And we looked at the idea that what's true in nature and the powerful things that we can see in nature are also true in us, right? And so the evergreens, it's this wonderful symbol that we use during this holiday time. It is a symbol of resilience. It's a symbol of life in the midst of the cold, in the midst of what would seem frigid, in the midst of possible death as the cold brings that. In the midst of darkness, we find the evergreen, and that's why we have this symbol everywhere. Our Christmas trees, the holly, the pine, the garland, all of these things that are around, it's symbolizing that. And of course, we, as I said last week, right, we're losing recipes, right? We think, oh, I put up a Christmas tree when I was a kid so Santa Claus can put presents under it, right? It's like, no, it's much more powerful than that. And so we recognize that just as there's resilience built in to the evergreen, so that same resilience is built into you, not to just survive challenging circumstances, but to thrive in the midst of it, because you were handcrafted for this world. And so if last week's sermon was about resilience as it relates to the evergreen, then today's sermon is about abundance as it relates to the evergreen, because the word evergreen to me is an interesting word. It can be a noun. As we talk about, we can call a pine an evergreen, or it can be an adjective, right? There are the evergreens that we use to decorate and adorn our homes during the holiday season. And then we can describe something as being evergreen, which may not be a plant. In Webster's, we read this, that evergreen in that use as an adjective, something that is universally and continually relevant, not limited in applicability to a particular event or date, something that retains its freshness, interest, or popularity. So if we say something is evergreen, that's what we're saying. And so again, if we looked at evergreens as a symbol of resilience last week and a reminder that we can thrive under challenging conditions, then today's message is an abundance message. You see, the simple fact that we see and can find evergreens everywhere at this time of year makes it a symbol of abundance. We're inundated. We're inundated with the symbol and advertisements and all of the bad and slightly good Lifetime and Hallmark Christmas movies in the grocery store, around town, and of course in our homes. We're seeing this symbol everywhere. And then we have the name itself, evergreen. Ever indicates always. It's the opposite of occasionally. It's the opposite of sometimes. When we have words like evermore or everlasting, or a word I learned as I was preparing for this sermon, ever during, right, which is like enduring always, we're signaling something eternal. Ever indicates forever, which then points us to that which is eternal. Because this is the very nature of the thing that we call God. It's the very nature of Mother, Father, God. It is the very nature of this principle that we call God, life, universe, or source. Of course, here in New Thought, we speak of God often as omni, right? God is omnipresence, not just omnipresent. It is everywhere and everything, constantly encountered. We speak of God as omnipotence, not omnipotent. It is not all powerful. It is power itself, right? We speak of God as omniscience, not all knowing, but actually intelligence itself, all knowledge, all wisdom, right? We speak of God in that way. But God is also ever. God is forever present. God is forever power. God is forever knowing and forever knowledge, eternal knowledge. And so when we use and hear these ever words like evergreen, back of and behind it is a universal truth. Back of and behind it is the all in all. And for this reason, we can know and embrace a spiritual truth. You are enough in every season. Affirmation time. Put your hand on your heart. I am enough in every season. I am enough in every season. I am enough in every season. Now, you may have found it difficult. You may have found it difficult to affirm that you are enough in every season. You may have heard or felt some doubt or shame creep up. You may have immediately thought about the fact that you don't have enough money right now. You may have immediately felt your sense of inadequacy. You may have immediately thought about the mistakes you've made recently or in your past. You may have experienced what I like to call the twin worries. See, at varying points in our lives, we're either worried about being enough or we're worried about having enough. Sometimes they're happening simultaneously. And they're these twins that are all rooted in or the opposite of this reality that I am enough in every season. And so my message to you today is that you are enough and you have enough in every season. And God, as the evergreen behind evergreen, is not seeing you or responding to you from those twin worries of being enough or having enough. See, I recognize that this season, this holiday season, can be depressing. This holiday season can be triggering for a lot of people, especially when it comes to the twin worries of being enough or having enough. We judge ourselves based on the gifts we can or cannot afford. We judge ourselves based on how lavish or how simple our holiday spread may be this year. I was really sitting with this and thinking about something, insight that came to me this week. As children, we've had varying experiences, right? Many of you may have learned not to ask for what you really want because you knew your parents couldn't afford it. Or you asked in the past and you didn't receive it. Whatever was the latest toy, video game, or popular clothes at the time, you didn't ask. You were disappointed. To this day, your sense of being enough and having enough is skewed because of this experience. See, you may have heard and read that God is infinite supply. You may have heard and read that God is abundance itself. You may have heard and read that God holds nothing back and nothing against you. You may have heard and read that prosperity and abundance are your birthright. You may have heard and read that you can be, do, or have anything, but you approach God and life like you're that 10-year-old child whose parents can't afford what you really want. So you didn't ask. Or like that 10-year-old child that was disappointed because they did ask and it didn't show up on the Christmas tree. That 10-year-old child who may have an experience of you knew you weren't going to think about Christmas gifts because you weren't eating dinner regularly throughout the week. That 10-year-old child who may have just asked for something small so that your parents wouldn't have to feel bad. Or that 10-year-old child who learned how to repress her emotions because you got back to school and all your friends are talking about the wonderful things that they received. And maybe you even told a story about what you received so you wouldn't feel bad. And the thing about it is that set the stage for these twin worries of being enough and having enough. And so we approach God like God is that parent. We approach life like life is that parent. We approach life as though it is that same experience. But hear this today. I don't care if you grew up in a one-parent or a two-parent household, if you were raised by your grandparents or adoptive parents, whether you knew your biological parents or whether you grew up in the foster system, whether your Christmases were amazing and abundant or they were abundant disappointments year after year after year. Right here and right now, you are enough in every season. Take a breath. I know you've got that story. I know you've been living your life according to that story. You've been holding back from yourself. Again, you've heard that God is infinite supply. You've heard that God is abundance. You've heard that God holds nothing back, but you can't really practice that because you got this worry. You got this sense of not being enough. And the word for you today is that you are enough. When? In every season. Can we affirm it again together? Put your hand on your heart. I am enough in every season. I am enough in every season. I am enough in every season. A Course in Miracles tells us the past is over. It can touch you not. So I'm not worried about the experience that you have this day, in this moment, right here and right now. That past is over and it can touch you not. Your past does not dictate your presence, and your past does not change the evergreen nature of life. And guess what? Life is in you and you are in life. Therefore, that evergreen reality is a part of you. You are enough in every season. And then we have the question, every season, Pastor Greg? We've been affirming something very specific. I did not say you are enough occasionally. I did not say you are enough sometimes. I did not say you are enough when you're feeling cute. I did not say you are enough when someone shows you love or shows you affection. I said you are enough in every season. Every season? Yes, yes. Every season. And when I say every season, what are we talking about? What types of seasons? Well, there are different types of seasons that we experience in our life. Of course, we have the challenges of our life. We have illness. We have unwanted or surprise diagnoses. We have loss. We have transitions of loved ones. We may move into a place of needing to care give for a parent or another loved one. We have other phases of life, a new relationship, we become a new parent, we have a new job, we start a new business, our income increases and we're in a new tax bracket. We have other pursuits of life, of course, our new goals, our new dreams, our new desires, our new perspective. No matter what season we're talking about, no matter which season or seasons you may be experiencing, there is enough for you because there is enough in you. Lord have mercy, there's a new affirmation. Can we affirm that together? There is enough for me and enough within me for every season. There is enough for me and enough within me for every season. One more time. There is enough for me and enough within me for every season. And why do I say that? It's interesting because do you see how this could bump back up against those twin worries? When you're worried about being enough or having enough, even in the so-called good things, right? You move into a new relationship, you've done the work, you attract a new lover, and what happens? You're already worried about, oh, am I going to be enough for them? Or, oh, do I have enough? This person may appear to be more accomplished than you in some way. And so you're not sure if you have enough or if you are enough. And they might get sick of me. They might want somebody else. And you move into a new job and you're looking around and you're like, I got hired. I went through the interview. They said they loved me. They accepted what I said I wanted in salary. And now I'm standing up here worried about, am I enough? Or do I have enough? Oh, wait, I see my colleagues, they actually have more degrees than I have. They have more certifications than I have. Oh, my colleagues have been working in this field for more years than I have. Maybe I'm not enough. But the truth of life, the word today is that there is enough for you because there is enough in you. There is enough for you and enough within you for every season. And then we have the pursuits of life. When you have a new desire, when you have a new goal, when you have a new dream, we tend to start to argue for our limitations, right? We start to try to figure out how to make it happen. How can I afford it? How can I take the time off work to take the vacation? How can I finagle my way into this new experience? We think about the ways we may have seen or heard it happen before or heard it happen for others, and we think about what we are capable of doing. We think about and start to compare ourselves to others. But the truth of life is that you are more than enough in every season. There's enough for you and enough within you for every season. And then the challenges of life. Now, I preached this message before, the idea that we've heard this false idea that life will never give you more than you can bear. And of course, what that has created in our world is humans trying to be superheroes. Humans shaming themselves when they're inexperienced. It's like, look, I can't bear this. This is too much. How much more can any person take? And the truth is that we often are given things, life experiences that are more than we can bear. Again, I just named some of them: illness, unwanted surprise diagnoses, various forms of loss, transition of a loved one, having to take care of a parent or a loved one. And the thing about life is, the reason why these things are more than we can bear is because we were never designed to bear things alone. And so then it becomes an opportunity for us to receive support, right? An opportunity for us to speak up and ask for support, an opportunity for us to look for support, an opportunity for us to remember and know that there is support, which is exactly what this message is talking about. Enough for every, oh my Lord, for every season. In these challenges, where you are right now, there is enough. Not in the sense that you have to have all of the answers, not in the sense that you have to possess all the things that you need, but life is providing for you. And the moment that you come into the realization that, wait, there's more than enough here for me. There is enough for me in every season. I'm in this season now of challenge. I'm in this season now of loss. I'm in this season now of grief. And there is more than enough grace, nurturing, ease, comfort for me. It's here, it's for me, and it's within me. And all I have to do is recognize that it is and begin to affirm this truth. Begin to affirm this truth that it is, that there is enough for me and enough within me in every season, and then open my eyes and say, life, show me this. Life, bring me the reality of this truth. I accept it to be my truth, and I choose to experience it now. It does not matter what the situation is. There is enough in every season. And when I talked about earlier, the idea that many times when we have a new goal or a dream and it starts to bring up all of our lack thoughts, we many times try to figure it out. We think it's up to us. There's nothing wrong with thinking those things, right? It's important. I mean, that happens, right? We're human. It may be your initial thoughts, and that's okay. Because what that does is it reveals what's standing in the way of your desire. Then you're clear about where your work is. You've revealed what your subconscious limiting thoughts are. Cool. Now you get to change them, because a belief is a thought you just keep thinking, and you can start thinking a new thought and change your experience. But as I always say, when fear speaks first, make truth the last word. What is our truth today? What does truth say? There's enough for you and within you for when? Every season. Last week was a resilience message. This week is an abundance message. This is, I would say, an abundance wake-up call. There is enough in every season. So ask for what you want and expect it. Whatever your desire is, whatever it is you want to be, do, or have, there is enough in every season. And you're not taking away from anybody else. So dream big, dream high, dream wide, dream deep. And know that there is more than enough for you in every season. You are enough in every season. So it does not matter what your past experience has been. The past is over. It can touch you not. Whatever your childhood experience is, first, forgive your parents and set them free. And remember and know that God is not your parents. Life is not your parents. The all that is, they're not your parents. And so no more do we approach the all that is in this way. No more do we approach all knowledge in this way, right? No more do we approach all power in this way. No more do we approach that thing that is everywhere present at all times, that knows how to bring forth anything that you desire with ease, gracefully, elegantly. But it cannot circumvent your limiting beliefs. I always say God responds and God becomes. God becomes the thing. God is as substance, as the principle, then becomes and manifests as a physical experience in this five sense world. But it is also responding to the pattern of our belief. And so while it may not hold the reality that you hold, it only holds the truth of unlimitedness. Anywhere that we hold limitation, it doesn't circumvent that, right? As soon as we remove it, it flows and it flows and it flows. What you need, when you need it, is always available to you. There is enough for you and within you for every season. And because this is a universal principle, we see it and experience it in our lives. And we see and experience it in nature. Because this is a universal principle, this enoughness, like love, never exhausts itself. It never runs out. It never runs dry or freezes over. And this is so incredibly important. As I said it earlier, I was talking about this idea of meditation, right? After the meditation experience, we need something that takes us out of the five sense world. And again, when we move beyond the five sense world, we're actually moving and connecting to capital R reality, right? We're taught that the five sense world is reality, right? The five sense world is the effect world. The inner world is the cause world. And so when we tap into this, it's important because that's the space that we're operating in that is enough. That is the space that we're operating from that never exhausts itself. That is the space that we're operating from that never runs dry. But see, if we never tap into this realm, if we're never connecting, even for 5 minutes every day, to that space, then the external world becomes the truth. And the external world moves through the same process. Birth, activity, decay, and death. Everything, right? I love to think about it. You think about the thing that was the latest and greatest, the latest and greatest car. 20, 30 years from now is going to look like a piece of junk and nobody will want it. It'll also lose great value for the most part, right? Because that's the nature of the five sense world. The five sense world is beautiful. It's powerful, right? It's wonderful to interact with and experience. But it also moves through birth, activity, decay, and death. And so when we make that world our truth, that's then why limit is the first thing that comes to our mind. I hope you can hear that. I hope that actually sparks something in someone's mind today. So we have to have an experience with the unlimited. We have to have an experience with the eternal. We have to have an experience with that thing that some would call heaven. We have to have an experience with that thing that some would call the kingdom of God. We have to have an experience with that thing that some would call the realm of everlasting good. We have to have an experience with that thing, as we read in the scriptures, where neither moth nor rust can touch. This is what our elder brother Jesus was talking about, this idea of store your treasures in heaven. You gotta have access. You gotta tap into that place, because that is the place of unlimitedness. That is the place of enoughness. And that is what we're drawing from. That is the place that I'm speaking from when I say that you are enough in every season. Not basing it on the external. But thankfully, we have these external symbols like evergreens, which are cluing us in to a spiritual truth, a spiritual reality. Ever indicates always. Not sometimes, not occasionally. Evergreen is, as the definition says, universally and continually relevant. In every season, yes, even in the one you're in right now, you are enough and you have enough. Open your arms and receive your blessing this season. Open your heart and mind and receive your miracle this season. This word is powerful. Last week we talked about resilience. This week we talked about abundance. Next week we'll talk about hope. You are enough in every season. There is enough for you and enough within you in every season. No matter what the season you may be going through, if it's a season of challenge and difficulty, if it's a season of newness, new job, new relationship, becoming a new parent, new business, new income bracket, or if it's a new goal, a new dream, a new desire, you are enough in every season. To this powerful spiritual truth, I simply say amen, which means it is so. Ashe, which means it definitely will be so. And so it is.